Hi, I'm Maggie. I'm a high school English teacher from North Carolina. I've been teaching for 5 years. I mostly teach 10th and 12th grade currently, and I have some exciting news. I just won Teacher of the Year for my high school for the upcoming year, so yay! Today, I'm going to be talking about how I grade essays. So I'm just going to give you some quick tips, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I feel like are important when you're grading essays. So my first tip is you need to get all of your stuff together before you start. And here's the reason. If you're like me, you want to do everything but grade these essays. Case in point, me making this video when I should just be grading. But anyways, you need to get something to drink. You may need a snack if you're going to be sitting there for a really long time. You need to go to the bathroom. You need to take your dog outside, take care of your children. You need what you're going to use to mark the essays. You need the actual essays. You may need your computer, your phone. You may need a blanket. I don't know. I mean, you need to get absolutely anything and everything that you could need in one spot. And that's because you will do anything to get out of grading these and to procrastinate a little bit more. So if you can get everything together before you start, then there won't be any weird trips that you need to make back and forth to distract you. Second tip that I have is do not mark everything. So when I first started teaching, I marked anything and everything that the student had done wrong. And this caused a couple of problems. One problem that it caused was it took me 30 minutes to an hour to grade every single essay. So it took me weeks of doing it all the time. And the second thing it did was when a kid got an essay back, it's super overwhelming for them for everything in the world to be marked. So the new thing that I do is I mark big issues. So, for instance, citations, works cited issues, if it's a research paper. Those are big issues that can go into plagiarism, quote issues. I will mark everything for those. Those are actually my main priority. And then I will mark some grammar, punctuation, and spelling issues. The new thing that I've started doing is instead of telling the kid exactly how to fix the issue, I've started circling it, which tells them there's something wrong here, but then they have to figure out what it is. Now, I will say sometimes my students have no idea what the issue is that I've circled, and they try. And so that's where when we're doing class time for essays, I will be available to them so they can say, hey, I really don't know what the issue is here, and then I can tell them. The other thing that I do that I think saves a lot of time is, let me get one and show you. I will change every kid in class, I will write them a paragraph on the front of their paper. And what that paragraph says is what I think their big issues are with their paper. And this makes it super easy, I think, for them to look at it and know exactly where their issues are and not have to flip throughout the paper and try to guess. Because as much as us marking everything is helpful in them fixing stuff, it doesn't necessarily tell them what the issue is. So for instance, for this paper, I said you need to work on connecting each paragraph back to your thesis. So that's something I wouldn't have necessarily wrote in each paragraph, but when I finish grading their paper, I can jot down that idea as something that they need to work on because it's fresh in my mind and I just graded it and I know that's something they need to work on. Some other things I said were check your formatting, you have some citation issues, you have a lot of editing to do. So editing meaning this person has a lot of spelling, grammar, punctuation issues that they need to fix. When your students turn in the final copy, you also need to have them turn in their rough draft again. So this student, this is the rough draft that I've already marked up. Here's the final copy I'm getting ready to mark up, and I just have them turn in both. So this is the new printed copy that's hopefully stuff has been fixed, and this is the old copy I've already marked up. So why do I have them do that? Well, because I can literally put the papers side by side and flip through each page and see if they changed or fixed every single thing that I marked. This is helpful because for a lot of times I can't remember what the rough draft even looked like, so it's hard for me to realize if this paper is actually better unless it's just infinitely better. But it's also going to help me with that little paragraph at the front that tells me exactly what it was that I told them to fix, so that I can see if they've actually done that. So I would suggest that you have the kids turn in the old copy that you've already wrote on and then the new copy as well, because I think it makes your life a lot easier and it definitely speeds up the grading process. Another tip that I have is that you need to have a rubric. And here's the reason why a rubric is super important. You need to grade each student the exact same way. And we know, unfortunately, that teachers are humans and that we do have bias and that we do have favorites, even though we're not supposed to. And I'm sure you do have students who you know are a lot better writers or have better essays than other students. Or maybe you like their topic more or something. A rubric is going to help keep you unbiased and on track. Make your rubric when you make the actual assignment. So when you give the kids the essay and say, here's what you're going to write about, you can also say, and here's what I'm grading you on. And go ahead and make it then. So then when it becomes time for you to grade it, you already have that done and you can't cater that rubric to, let's say, the best essay in the class. I like this because a lot of times students don't really understand. They think we just subjectively look at an essay and go, 89. And some teachers may do that, but I try really hard to follow my rubric. So that way, when they don't like the grade that they get, I can then pull up the rubric, which they also have available to them, and say, and this is why you made the grade you made. So if you would like to make a higher grade next time, or if you allow them to do corrections or something, you can say, you can work on adding points here, here, and here, because here's where you lost the most points. Here's where you did some things that were good. So I think that's helpful. It's also helpful if you ever have a parent come and challenge your grades. You have a rubric that shows exactly how you graded it. I would suggest, if you're a brand new teacher, that you go to a couple other teachers in your department or other teachers that you know who grade essays, and ask them for their rubrics that they use when they grade essays. That's a great thing that you could steal from someone else, and then you can modify it to fit what you're going to be doing with your kids or how you want to grade your essays. But I think it's good for you to see how other people may be grading those essays in your school or your department in general. And here's my big tip. I've been talking a lot about this on my Instagram lately, and I think a lot of people think I'm crazy, but it works. I put the essays in order from worst to best. And this is just subjective. And this is you just going, okay, I know this paper has a lot of issues right off the bat. I know that this student struggled. I know this student was absent the whole time we did this paper. I know the student didn't make any corrections, whatever. Start with that essay. And here's why. If you can start with the one that has the most problems, you're starting when you have the most energy, where you are still into and gung-ho grading essays. Because as we know, the further that you get along, the less and less that you care. I hate to say, but you lose your gung-ho-ness, if that's a word. So I start with the quote-unquote worst ones, and I just make a stack, and then they progressively get better from there. So the one that's at the very bottom, the last one I'm going to grade, is actually the one that I in my head feel like is going to be the strongest one, the best one. The other thing that sometimes happens is the essay that you think is going to be bad actually turns out good. And it's almost like a little surprise, like, yippee, in the middle of grading essays. Sometimes the one you think is the best is not. Now, I will say sometimes after you've done a couple really rough ones in a row, it's hard to then pick up another one that's quote-unquote bad. So if you want to shuffle in some good ones in between to help you get through the rough ones, then by all means go ahead. I also know a lot of people that grade in alphabetical order. I've done that before too, and that also works fine. I just found this year that starting with the rough ones is just helpful to me because I've got to get through them. I can't just keep putting them off. I just do them from the get-go, and then there you go. My other tip is this right here is a huge distraction when you are trying to grade. I cannot grade essays with the TV on, watching something on my computer, looking at something on my phone, getting text messages. So here's what I do. I either put my phone on airplane mode or silent. Sometimes I set a timer so that I can't do anything else until I've either finished the essay or the timer has gone off. And to grade essays, it's not like grading a worksheet or whatever. Like, you need to be able to think and process. And so I can't watch TV or movies or videos or whatever. And I can't listen to music. Some people can, I can't. So I will sometimes find on YouTube or something that's like music. It's instrumental music, so there's no words, there's no singing, so I can't sing along. Sometimes I put on relaxing sounds, you know, like rain, just so there's like background noise, but it's not anything, like I said, that I can sing along to or be distracted by. And sometimes I listen to ASMR videos. You know, you just gotta find what works for you. I think eventually you'll be able to figure out what works for you. I think that's all my tips. The last tip, though, is just do it. Just grade the essays. Quit procrastinating. Quit distracting yourself with other things and just grade the essays. Quit putting them off because it just makes you feel bad. And I know right now you're watching this video because you have essays that you need to grade and you're distracting yourself. I'm not going to let you get away with it. You better go grade those essays. I hope that you found this video helpful. I have some to grade myself, so I'm gonna get off of here. Make sure that if you like this video that you do give it a like. Give me a comment and tell me, are you procrastinating grading essays right now? Don't lie to me. And make sure you subscribe. If you would like to see more daily content from me, then go follow me on Instagram at Book for the Week, the same way it is here, because I try to post on there every day, and I'm a lot more regular on there than I am on YouTube. You know, YouTube takes a lot of work, honey, but I'm going to get back on the wagon, I promise. I hope you are having a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.